Hey, what is up, everybody? As you can see here, I got this massive Walmart bag containing a bunch of games that I just got for a relatively decent price. So originally, I was going out to just grab a handful of games here and there, specifically um, those that I need to complete my collection. But instead, I found myself in a position where I just had to get these games because otherwise I would never find a better price. Let's get started. So first things first, the first couple items I have here a 12-month membership to Nintendo Switch Online. Why did I get this? Well, because here in Canada, they recently raised the price to $29.99. However, EB Games is still selling, and a lot of other retailers for that matter are still selling the subscription at the original price of $24.99, which it was very much the price that had remained consistent since the launch of NSO back in 2018. And it's only now that they jacked it up by about $5, which isn't much, but considering how expensive subscriptions have gone in the last 7 years in general, I just had to get it. Now, um, as a it goes without saying, you can only stack a certain number of years for Nintendo Switch Online. I believe it's three, so you can stack a total of 3 years on top of one another, and that is it. After that, well, you're gonna have to hang on to that subscription card and redeem after a certain period has passed before you can redeem anything else afterwards. So that's the card. One of them, anyways. Next up, we have Just Dance 2021, which I got for $5. Now, I previously got this game. Uh, I had it a while ago. As a matter of fact, it was actually um, almost 2 years ago that I originally got it for also for $5, and I ended up rebuying it just so I can complete my physical Just Dance collection, of which I have most for which I have most of the games. I'm still missing a handful of titles. Um, I believe it is Just Dance 2018 and 2019, uh, and a couple other entries as well. And the reason I want to get them is because those are the games that have actual physical editions. As pretty much every game since Just Dance 2023 is just a code in a box, which yeah, kind of sucks. So you know what? I might as well, if I'm gonna get a Just Dance game, might as well get one that actually comes with something inside. And generally with each game, there's about 40 new songs, which is nice. And in the case of these older games, you can actually use you can actually use an app on your phone to play the game if you're not playing on a Nintendo console, which usually have some motion control. Um, whereas the Xbox and PlayStation, up until up until 2023, allowed the use of the PS Move and Xbox Connect. Afterwards, you kind of were, I believe, relegated to a phone. I'm actually not sure right now, but I do know that it can be a bit more troublesome to get these Just Dance games working on anything that's not a Nintendo platform, including this one. So let's quickly open them up. Open this up. This is actually an Xbox and Xbox Series game, so I'm assuming I'm not sure if it's just an. I'm actually not sure if it's just an Xbox One game that's compatible with the Series cons- console, or it has both versions. But it does install. When I bought it a couple years ago, it did install on my Xbox just fine. So yeah, yeah, that's Just Dance. Let's actually pick up the pace here. Yeah, so this one is the Game Pass Ultimate subscription. Costs $22.99 Canadian dollars. This is one of the older cards. Recently, well, relatively recently, like last year, they hiked up the subscription cost to $33.99, which is like pretty much almost a 50% price increase, which is just ridiculous. There's no way and that doesn't even include like tax, I believe. Because depending on where you get the subscription, they do charge tax, which honestly really sucks. For some reason, they didn't. I bought this at EB Games, and they did not charge tax for this. I got it for $22.99, whereas if I got the card on Amazon up until recently, yeah, when I got the card on Amazon, they did actually charge me tax. So I don't know what's going on, but yeah, I got Game Pass Ultimate for 1 month. My main motivator is, well, I just want is just the online, the games that included in this tier, but also uh, the Fortnite crew stuff, which of which I'm interested in. So yeah, I did actually find like a 12-month card for Xbox Game Pass Core, I believe, and at a discounted price, it was $69.99, which is the old price. The new price is $87.99. I tried to buy it, but unfortunately, um, when I brought it to the checkout at Best Buy, it just wouldn't work, which is a pity. I did also see a whole stack of like old Xbox Live cards there. They had a whole bunch of like 6 months card selling for 44.99 Canadian, and the 3 month card selling for 29.99. Keep in mind, of course, that the 1 year card used to cost 69.99. So buying those cards um, would not have been like the best deal necessarily. I may actually end up doing it, but just to see what I'm getting, whether the Xbox Live card will automatically grant me Game Pass Essential or Game Pass Core or whatnot. But we'll see. Uh, we'll we'll see what happens. But yes, let's actually move on to the actual meat of this video. The games. Well, the games that I got um, from EB Games that wasn't a Just Dance game. And so let's actually take it out, and here we go. So this was actually a different EB Games that I went to across town, and I got there pretty late, and thank goodness I bothered to go there because there were quite a lot of good games here. My only one regret is that I missed out on the recent deal they had where they had a buy two get one free offer. I missed out on that unfortunately, but it's okay because I ended up getting a pretty good deal anyways, relatively speaking, of course. So the first game we have here is Two Point Campus Enrollment Edition. I actually remember pre-order. I think I actually pre-ordered this game a long time ago, but I never. But that was just a placeholder. I was never actually intending to like buy it. I was just putting it as a placeholder because I had trade credit. I'm sorry. I would usually when you trade in stuff at EB Games, they give you extra trade credit if you like go, for things like pre-ordering stuff. And yeah, this was one of the games I pre-ordered at the time, and here it is, like um, for just $9.99. It's actually even cheaper because I have an Edge card, which is the loyalty program here in Canada, which is unfortunately going away, and it grants me 5% off. So yeah, that's really nice. So build your university your way, create the campus of your dreams, shape the lives of your students, manage a deep, fun, evolving world, build your own university with new creative tools, oversee a range of wild and wonderful courses, and guide your students to flourish and succeed. Now get the class. So this edition of the game I got here comes with a university prospectus campus map and 2 point bonus DLC pack. I'm pretty sure that DLC pack is like code is gone now, but hey, at least I got a nice looking box, which is important. So it's a one-player game. It has network features, 9 GB minimum, and has in-game purchases. Oof, okay. It's also an Ultra HD Blu-ray. Okay, I'm not sure what that's about, but if that means anything, that is. But yeah, so let's open this up and yeah, hopefully I don't destroy the box because unfortunately, GameStop, they do like to put their sticker on here, and ugh, the sticker really does stick on here, sadly. So it it's very difficult to get off. So I'll have to cut it. Okay, so I actually did manage to peel off very carefully the sticker here. It came, unfortunately, a bit of the cover actually came off, but thankfully not too much. So let's actually open this package and see what's inside. Okay, so it actually does. Okay, so it's actually just a regular copy of the game with some few extra goodies, which, okay, that's all right. Okay, all right. It's really just, yeah, it's really just a regular copy of the game. Really regular. Yeah, it's just a regular copy with some extra goodies, which is neat. So let's quickly go over it. Oh, of course. Oh, yeah, and the game's also published by Sega, which is certainly interesting. Okay. Oh, shoot. What is that? Okay, you got some. I will say it is always nice when games include this sort of thing. They don't have to do it, but it is really nice when they do. Now let's see. Campus. Oh, this is an actual map. Okay, this is actually really nice. Yeah, this is really nice. Okay, I don't think I have enough space to open it, but yeah, this is really nice. Wait, hang on. Which way is it? Okay, here it is. Here's the map. Okay. Nice. Okay, now let's actually try to put everything back. So we have the game over here in a regular PS5 case. And and here's the 2-point bonus pack. Again, not sure if the code's expired, but okay, you got a lot of time. I got a lot of time on this. Expires 8/9/2032. I don't know if that's August 9th, or I'm pretty sure it's August 9th. Or it's September 9th, 8th, or yeah, okay, whatever. It works. It works. If you bought this game when it came out, you got plenty of time. But yeah, that's basically 2-point campus. Next up is the game that I actually was looking for. Didn't quite get it. Didn't quite get exactly what I wanted, but it was pretty close. So, and that is the Yakuza Remastered Collection. This is a collection of 3 games: Yakuza 3 Remastered, Yakuza 4 Remastered, and Yakuza 5. I think also remastered. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, so you got 3 games here. Complete the Journey of the Dragon. Celebrate Kazumi Kiryu's saga with the beautifully remastered Yakuza 3, 4, and 5, including content never before seen in the West, and revitalized localization in 1080p and 60 frames per second. Experience the complete Yakuza collection on one console for the first time in history. As you can see here, you got all 3 games here. A deadly power struggle in Okinawa, a mysterious murder shrouded in secrecy, an all-out turf war threatens to erupt. And it's a 1 to 2 players game, which is odd. 67 gigabytes minimum, DualShock 4, and it comes on 2 discs because there's quite a lot of, because obviously PlayStation 4 discs only contain like 50 gigabytes at most, I believe. So yeah, it makes sense. And it has a PS4. It's also PS4 Pro Enhance. Also nice. But yeah, the main reason I wanted to get this was because Yakuza 3 Remastered specifically. Sorry, Yakuza 3 Remastered specifically just got delisted because of Yakuza Kiwami 3, which is the remake, or yeah, it's the remake, and it did not do so well. And yeah, a lot of the changes they made, a lot of people didn't like, and it really hurts, of course, that you can't even buy the original version or as close to the original version anymore. and for some reason they opted to delist to drop the price. This was like almost $70. No, it was like 65.99 or something like that until recently. They dropped it, found it on. They dropped it to 34.99, and yeah, I had to really ask. I actually had to call and ask for this, but yeah, they had it. Unfortunately, they didn't have like the special edition case, which comes in this really nice special foldable case, which comes with all three games. Uh, I believe that originally came with like also with a blank case for Yakuza 5 on PS3 as a nice little bonus. Um, now if you're wondering why they did that, it's because Yakuza 5 originally came out on PS3 back in 2015 in the West, but it was a digital only release, and so when they remastered the game, they had a special edition which came with like a blank case with a blank case for uh for a PS3 game, um, with the with all the PS3 branding and everything, but it didn't come with the actual PS3 disc. It was just meant to be like a nice little bonus for those uh, who ended up picking up Yakuza 5 initially, but were bummed out that it wasn't a physical release because the PS3, of course, was at the tail end of its life cycle. So a little hard to justify making a physical copy uh, internationally, I guess. But I mean, hey, it's they bothered to print the plastic, so I don't know why they didn't just give us the disc. They should have done what Rodea the Sky Soldier did, where they included both the Wii and Wii U disc in one package. But yeah, let's open it up. We have. I'm expecting a disc tray in here, and there it is. So, of course we have a sticker here, which is really nice. This is the studio that makes the Yakuza games. It is rather unfortunate that the more recent entries have not performed as well as they could, including the aforementioned Yakuza Kiwami 3. Like they've been re-releasing a lot of the older games, like Yakuza Zero Director's Cut, Yakuza Kiwami 1 and 2, Yakuza Kiwami 3, and understandably, a lot of people are getting sick of these re-releases because you essentially because they're adding new content that is a bit divisive and also basically forcing people to pay more money just to get these upgrades. So here we have, okay, but yeah, back to the collection itself. We have here Yakuza 5 remastered. And of course Yakuza 3 remastered and Yakuza 4 remastered. It's interesting how they they put it in, how they bundled it. So because Yakuza 5 is on one disc and then the other disc is 3 and 4, which is interesting. But yeah, for $34.99, that's basically about a little more than $11 per game, which not a bad deal, all things considered. $11 per game I can deal with. But yeah, that's the Yakuza Remastered Collection. Um, you can pretty you can pretty much play the entire franchise, aside from like Kiwami 3 on the PS4, which is awesome, and the Xbox One as well. Um, well, at least if you already bought the game, bought this collection prior to its delisting, because when it came to the Xbox side of things, it was mainly digital for the most part. So, yeah, PlayStation 4 is the best place to play these games. Um, uh, Yakuza Zero Director's Cut notwithstanding. But yeah, let's move on, since I definitely spent quite a bit more time than I initially intended. Next up is Sine Mora EX. So this is a remastered version of Sine Mora, or I can never pronounce this game's title. But yeah, I actually got this on Xbox Live Gold as one of the monthly titles. It was the back compat 360 version. This is the actual Xbox One version, and for $1.99, you know what? I'll take it. Of course, it's a side-scrolling shoot 'em up that provides a unique challenge where time is the ultimate factor. I'm not sure what the what this updated version comes with. But again, for a $1.99, you clearly can't go wrong. And if you also noticed, you can see it was published by THQ Nordic, which of course um, is of course was part of Embracer Group, which kind of imploded on itself a couple years ago because they bought up too many studios, including the people who made this game, I believe. They bought up all these studios, and they were flipping. They were definitely making a profit from re-releasing these titles. Taking these old IPs and re-releasing them and potentially making new entries, but unfortunately, they bit off more than they could chew, and the new entries they did make, like most infamously Saints Row, did not do so well. So, yeah. Next up, I have Project Spark, only on Xbox One and PC. Yeah, this was a really odd one. I picked this out because it was just because of this. It was so odd to me. Like this was when Microsoft was starting to get into like the whole PC space, where they would release a game both on Xbox and PC, which in hindsight may or may not have been a good idea because now it's given people less of a reason to buy an Xbox. But yeah, this is one of the games they were pushing for the system at the time. I'm not sure what this whole starter pack is, but the game also requires a content download. I think it's meant to be like a sort of competitor to or like meant to be a competitor or something similar to like Little Big Planet, which I really need to sit down and play because you can create a whole bunch of stuff. You can do a bunch of like stuff like creating like world building and creating your own world. Or yeah, so yeah, it says here, uh, play the epic tale of Champions Quest, where a tiny but powerful spark recruits an army of champions to confront an ancient world-devouring virus that threatens to destroy the universe. Create your own exciting story in minutes by making simple choices through play or experience an endless number of games created by a global community. If I understand correctly, I'm not sure if this game is still active, has an online function, but there is an offline mode at the very least, so that's good as far as I can tell. Next up, Wild Hearts. This was done by Koei Tecmo and published by EA. This was their EA original line of games, I believe, that did not do so well. So like it would be made by a Japanese developer and then published by a Western publisher. And yeah, I heard this game was just, I guess, mediocre. I mean, I heard this was. I really don't remember that much about it. I know they put out a Switch port, so obviously it did well enough to warrant one. But yeah, it's a Series X exclusive game, which for 2023 was, I guess one of the big selling points for the system. But as you can tell by that price tag, clearly this version at the very least didn't do so well. And like I said, they released a Switch 2 version like last year with, I believe, some extra content, but I don't know what that extra content entails. Outriders. Okay, this one's interesting because I actually did play this on Game Pass date, like when it released. So they added this to. So this was this was made by People Can Fly, the same people who made Gears of War Judgment previously, before going off on their own and trying to make their own game. That game, of course, being Outriders. But of course, they needed help, and they got Square Enix to publish the game. They got some help from Square Enix, but it's unclear how well this game did because it did reach like 3.5 million players, but the developers, People Can Fly, kind of claimed that they weren't being paid by Square Enix because they were supposed to be given money. They were supposed to be paid when the game was profitable, but of course the game got added to Game Pass, which, yes, increased their player count, but obviously if you're just playing the game on Game Pass, you're not buying it. And judging by that price tag, yeah, a lot of people weren't buying this, or at the very least were no longer interested. So it says Series X and Xbox One here. I believe this is like one of those cases where it's one of those smart delivery games. Let me see, actually. Yeah, it's a smart delivery game. So basically, you it's both the Xbox One and Series X versions included, which is nice. So Outriders, 1 to 3 players co-op RPG shooter. Become an outrider, a pioneer from a forgotten past, reborn with devastating powers, revered and feared. You are the last hope for humanity's survival. I actually did, um, like I said, I actually did play this a bit, and I thought it was all right from what little I played. Though I should really I really do want to get back into this and see how it is. Um, okay, let's see here. May require additional hardware and subscription, Xbox services, and support not available in all regions. Yeah, hopefully I can. Day 1 edition includes Hell's Rangers content pack featuring 11 Hell's Rangers guns, males and females, gears and sets, and convoy modifications. Don't know if that DLC code is even included or whether it even works, but we'll find out soon enough. Next up, I have Lost Judgment for the Series X and Xbox One for $5. So this is another Yakuza-related title. Um, this is a spin-off. This is yeah, this is actually a spin-off of the series, and I heard it's really good. Heard it's really good at the very least. But of course, I'll have to try it for myself. And yeah, this is another smart delivery game, so it does come with both versions, which is really nice. And for $5, really good. This is a really good deal. It really is. What's weird though is that this is actually a sequel to Judgment, which came out before this game. I believe. Okay, sorry. So apparently they released okay, so the first game actually came out in 2019, or actually no, 2018 in Japan, then 2019 in the West for the PS4, and then in April 2021 they released the remastered version for the PS5 and Series console, and like 6 months after that, like barely 6 months after that, they were not even 6 months, sorry, 5 months, they released this game. So yeah, that's interesting. So basically if you've never had a PS4 and you're and somehow managed to get yourself a PS5 and Xbox or Xbox Series, yeah, you got basically got the sequel like 5 months after the fact, technically, which is interesting. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be sitting down to play this at some point. Also, wish I could get rid of this. I can't remember if it was this game that was the one where they had to replace the actor because of some personal scandal. Because Japan, when it comes to Japan, like they're pretty strict about that. If a famous celebrity gets caught up in something, they basically get canceled, where pretty much everything about them gets wiped off the face of any of the medium that they sorry, get wiped off the face of the earth, essentially, including their likeness and such. And final game, not much to talk about. It's Madden NFL 23 for 99 cents. Even less than that with my discount, but yeah, Madden 23, and I believe this is John Madden himself on the from an old photo. Yeah, this is a Series X game. Yeah, for some reason, a lot of EA games they did this where it's like it's only an Xbox One version or only an Xbox Series version. A lot of sports games did this. And the reason was that they just this was just to sell more copies on each dedicated console. And why so cheap? Well, obviously it's an older game, but also the online mode is actually shutting down in July of this year, so yeah. That's basically the main reason why it's so cheap. And also the fact that sports games are generally very samey from year to year, minus some differences here and there. But yeah, that's basically it for all the games I got from EB Games. Now let's actually move on to the Walmart games. And oof, boy, this video is gonna be. I don't think we're even halfway done. Okay, so here's all the stuff I got on Walmart, and yeah, so Walmart was essentially trying to get rid of this. Like this just been sitting on in their behind their um, behind their display for a long time, and so I guess they just wanted to get rid of these. So, and that includes all the like the very all the the very very valuable ones too. Um, like for the most part, they were it was a lot of obviously a lot of low quality games here and there. But yeah, I got a lot of really good ones as well. And let's start off at the top of the pile here with Metroid Prime remastered for 27.48. That is 24.78 Canadian. That's 50 it's even 50, yeah, it's 50% off. That is incredible. That is incredible. Like a first party, like first of all, the game wasn't even that much expensive when it came out, to be fair. It wasn't full price, which they honestly could have gone away with, but yeah, this is really nice. They also had Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, also for the Switch, selling for $42. I already have the game, so I didn't need it. But yeah, yeah. Now I have an excuse to get into Metroid Prime, um, as Prime 4 was the only game I actually had previously. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna be sitting down and playing this for sure. Next up, this one's an interesting one. Star Ocean: The Second Story R. This is the second entry in the Star Ocean franchise. This is actually obviously the R indicates that this is a remake, and yeah, this is a remake of a PlayStation 1 game that got ported to a bunch of other systems. It got remastered on like the PS. It got ported to a bunch of other systems and then got remastered for the PSP, and then was finally remade for modern systems. And yeah, I heard this one's actually one of the better games in the Star Ocean franchise. Some of the more recent entries, unfortunately, have not stuck the landing, sadly. And this is one of the better games. This is a return for the franchise, which is nice. Uh, Game blends like 3D, blends pixel art and 3D graphics, which is a rather interesting take. I know not everyone obviously likes it, but it is an interesting way. You know, it's interesting. It has a very unique look to it, distinct look to it, as opposed to just doing an anime style cell shaded 3D models or just straight up just pixel art. Now the Switch version, unfortunately, it doesn't appear to be on the cartridge. Sadly, you do have to download, which kind of sucks. But that is unfortunately par for the course when it comes to Switch games. It sucks, but at least it's not a at least it's not a game key card, which is unfortunately pretty much the standard for a lot of Switch games. But yeah, on the topic of game key cards, yeah, this might as well be a game key card um, because aside from a couple of NES games, pretty much everything on this, pretty much all the games require a download, and that is Metal Gear Solid Masters Collection Volume One, which I got for 14.96. Which is a pretty good deal, all things considered, considering what you're getting. Like you're getting like three really good games, plus two bonus NES games as well. Now, now, in regards to Metal Gear Solid, I actually have the HD collection, but I've never I've never played the first Metal Gear Solid because of course the HD collection only came with 2, 3, uh, and Peace Walker. And it also doesn't help that Metal Gear Solid is a PlayStation 1 game, so it is going to be very, very dated. Um, but we'll see. We'll see if I end up liking it despite its outdated nature. But yeah, like I said, download a micro. It is. It might as well be a game. It might as well be a game key card just because download a micro SD card required. Um, yeah, you need at least 32 gigabytes just to install it, which sucks. And I did want to get like the PlayStation version because obviously these games were designed with PlayStation hardware in mind. So there'll be times where they actually reference the PlayStation console itself, and for the or PlayStation button prompts. But obviously, this is a Switch, and one of the actors has at least one of the Campbell's Japanese actor has unfortunately passed away, so they kind of have to mute the audio when the characters are speaking or mentioning the button prompts, which is interesting, which is an odd choice. Now, this game did also get us like a Switch 2 update, so it does run at 60 frames on those, at least these two games here. At least Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, they run at 60 frames on a Switch 2, which is nice. But I don't think it. I'm not sure if it applies to the original Switch, and if not, that kind of sucks. I mean, this is these they got it running at 60 frames on a PS3 and Xbox 360. Really, there should not be any excuse. And plus, these are PS2 games at their core, and a PS1 game. They should be able to run at a higher frame rate. But yeah, that's Metal Gear Solid. I'm look. I am. We just got the announcement of Volume 2, which is nice. So yeah, finally, Metal Gear Solid 4 is playable on something that isn't a PS3, which is awesome. And funny enough, they're even releasing it on the Switch. Like, yeah, again, Switch is more powerful than a PS3, but as we've seen with this collection, the performance was woefully underwhelming. And you know, just because the game was, and of course, like I said, it was the game was specifically designed around that cell that was playing specifically designed around the PS3 hardware. So, just because it worked well on PS3, well optimized on PS3, just because it was well optimized for that system doesn't mean it's going to be automatically well optimized for this. But yeah, let's move on to Octopath Traveler 0. Yeah, this is actually the most recent Octopath Traveler game, which came out literally last year. And yeah, it's selling for like they're selling it for like more than 50% off. Yeah, it's 50% off, which is insane. Um, but as I will, and they even released like a Switch 2 port as well. But unfortunately, that Switch 2 port I don't think comes with a free upgrade. And of course, it's also a game key card too, which is a bit of a bummer. So yeah, the Switch version is, I guess, the better option if you just want everything on the cartridge. Though unfortunately, as I will get to in a moment with the PlayStation games, I wish I I wish I could have gotten this for. I wish I could have gotten this for. I would have. Sorry. I wish I could have maintained some consistency because, as I will get to in a moment, there's another game in here that I got that's I wish I could have gone on the same platform. But yeah, Octopath Traveler 0. Yeah, it's actually the third Octopath Traveler game. First one came out in 2018, and then a number of years later they got the sequel. And funny enough, also, yeah, they kind of did it weird. They released this in a weird fashion. So it was a the first game was Switch exclusive, then got ported over to I think the Xbox One and but not the PlayStation 4. And then the second game came out for PlayStation and Switch, but then it was just weird in general. But yeah, looking at the Wikipedia page, yeah, basically it was the first game was Switch exclusive at first, and then it came over to the Xbox One like almost 3 full years later, um, but not PlayStation for some reason until until 3 years after that. So yeah, PlayStation owners had to wait a total of 6 years just to get the first game, which is insane. And the second game, it came out on Switch and PlayStation, but then the Xbox release did not come out until a year later. And then it came out on everything the same day, like no exclusivity, no or leaving out of any platforms except the original Xbox One. The original Xbox One did not get this game, but honestly, it's not that much of a loss considering the Xbox One is basically, has become completely irrelevant. It would have been, I would have been really shocked if they actually did, but it's not surprising that they didn't do it for the Xbox One. But yeah, let's move on. So this is actually the game I actually that I actually saw at first and I actually wanted. Sonic Racing Crossroads for the PlayStation 5. Now, I recently had bought the not too long ago. I got the Switch version of the game, and I was content with it. Well, somewhat content with it, as it was pretty pricey. $64.99. I did use trade credit for it, which softened the blow, but $64.99 still a bit of money to spend on a on like objectively the worst version of the game. And eventually, I tried it out at my friend's house. We tried out the four-player co-op, sorry, the four-player multi-switch screen, and that was a miserable experience. The game ran it at such an abysmal frame rate. It really didn't look good. I tried to return it. Unfortunately, I couldn't return it because I already opened it, and so I ended up trading it for a brand new sealed copy of Ys 9, uh, Monstrum Nox, and I actually saw a copy at a different Walmart for like I think it was like $45. I was tempted to get it, but thankfully I didn't because yeah, patience is a virtue, and yeah, got it for $25. This game was previously 50. There was actually a second copy there that was also $50, but this one for some reason was 25. And yeah, for $25, it's an amazing deal considering it was like it's like full price. It's $89.99 plus tax. It's 100. So yeah, basically saved almost got this for 25, almost 25% of its original price, which is awesome. And it recently just got some new DLC characters, which is awesome too. Um, now the game was released at launch, so okay, yeah, let's see here. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this comes with the Werehog character, uh, character, and cart as well on a code, but we'll see. But yeah, this Sonic Racing Crossroads, it's in my opinion one of the best Sonic racing games. Period. Like, it really is. Next up, Octopath Traveler 2. So this is the game I was mentioning earlier. Yeah, I got Octopath Traveler 0 here on Switch, and I got Octopath Traveler 2 on the PS5. Like I would definitely have loved to have been more consistent about it. That's kind of, unfortunately, it's either I get these two games on sale on their respective platforms at on these two platforms, or I don't get a deal at all. And I ended up choosing to get the deal. Now, the first two Octopath Traveler games were available on Game Pass, but obviously, you know, I didn't play it. And honestly, when it comes to playing games on Game Pass, as much as I love Xbox Game Pass, I really don't like. I found that I really didn't like being forced to play a game just because I had a subscription service. It just didn't sit right with me. I like the subscription service is nice for a massive catalog of games and of course online multiplayer and the extra bonuses here and there, extra perks like Fortnite Crew. But when it comes to just sitting down and playing like an RPG, I don't like having to be forced to play it just to complete it before my subscription ends. I mean, I did it for Persona 5, but aside from that, I prefer to just have the game for the most part. And yeah, I got it. I think this is actually I'm not sure if this is a 2-disc game, but yeah, it definitely feels a bit weighty. But yeah, Octopath Traveler 2. This is the second game, as I mentioned. Came out alongside the Switch version, which is nice. But at the time of its release, the first game was nowhere to be seen on the um, PlayStation side of things, so you're kind of missing out. And Xbox players, they kind of missed out on this for a while too. So yeah, it's a bit weird. Next up, we have Neo: The World Ends with You. Yeah, this is actually a sequel to The World Ends with You, which actually got a remaster on modern platforms. It was originally a DS game, and of course they had to adapt the controls to a modern console, and unfortunately, it didn't seem to have done all that well, sadly, which is a shame because you always want these more niche titles to succeed because you don't need a AAA uh, title, in your life, in your gaming life all the time. You don't need that big budget AAA title that sometimes you just want to wind down and relax with something more experimental. And yeah, this seems to have been one of those experimental titles. It just didn't it just didn't sell, sadly, as the nature of these niche titles. Like they really do need like a dedicated audience, and unfortunately, aside from a few dedicated few, it just didn't do well enough. Now, speaking of on the topic of niche, well, this isn't actually niche. This franchise in of itself spawned a generational meme. Can it run Crisis? And well, obviously it's on a PS4, so yeah, it can run Crisis all right. Um, oh yeah, sorry. Before I go, I almost forgot completely. Yeah, I got this for. So I got my copy here of Octopath Traveler 2 for $25, and Neo: The World Ends with You for $12, down from 30, which is an incredible deal. And this is down from 50, so yeah, 50% off essentially. Or this one is actually no, 12 by 30. This is 40% of its original cost. Yeah, Crisis Remastered Trilogy. Yeah, it comes with all three games, which is awesome. The Switch release of this is odd as well. Is odd because they did separate releases for it. So instead of having it all in one bundle, it was separated into three, and I think you could only get it like through. I think it was ooh, I think it was limited run games. I Where you could only get it. I'm not sure, but yeah, this is the PS4 copy. $19, basically 50% off. Comes with three games. So yeah, about $6 a piece, almost a little more than $6 a piece, and you got some bonus art cards inside. I tried the game out on PC, and yeah, it's actually pretty good. Now I know the remastered gets a bit of flack because it is unfortunately based on an imperfect version of the game. So originally the game obviously came out on PC. It was a very demanding game for the platform, and so a lot of computers had trouble running it, and they somehow managed to port it over to uh, the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 much later down the line, albeit with several compromises. It was missing one of the DLC missions, sadly. Um, but and this remaster is based on that imperfect version for PS3 and Xbox 360, which had to make some compromises to the gameplay just to get it running, and people were just people were a little disappointed with it, sadly, just because of that. But they did add in the missing DLC mission from that original PC release, so that that's a bit of a that's nice. But yeah, if you take a look on the back here, we got Crisis. Yeah, we can see all three games. There is apparently Crisis 4 coming, so that's nice. You can see right here, one player DualShock 4, 47 gigabytes, PS4 Pro Enhance, and English, French, and Spanish. Of course, you got the CryEngine, and there's Saber Interactive as well. Yeah, but yeah, Crisis 4 is apparently in development. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, it is good, but much like Metroid Prime 4, I, you know, I have there is a part of me that's really skeptical since when a game is in development for so long, that often means that either they're really hard at work on it or it's having issues. And I'd like to believe that it's the latter, since I'm pretty sure a lot of the original people are not working on it. But we'll see. And now we finally get to the final game. Oof, almost 50 minutes long. Okay, well, so Tales of Arise. So I've owned up until this point almost half a dozen of these games, including including a couple copies of the same title. Tales of Symphonia, which I have for both Xbox One and PS3. And yeah, Tales of Arise on the PS4. I got this for $15. The case is kind of warped for some reason. I don't know why. It's a little. I don't know what happened there, but yeah, it's a little just warped. But yeah, this is the most recent entry in the Tales of franchise, and I heard it's actually really good. So we'll. Uh, I've got a lot of RPGs to get through, so this unfortunately will have to be on the back burner. I'm not sure if this. If we look on the back here, obviously it's a single player game, 40 gigabytes minimum, PS4 Pro enhanced, DualShock 4 vibration function supported, and supports English and Japanese with subtitles in English, French, Spanish, and Portuguese. So yeah, I'm not sure if there's like a PS5 free upgrade for the PS5 version, but yeah, this was a cross-gen title, so maybe there is, and maybe you can bring your save file over. I'm not too sure, but hopefully that's true. But yeah, that pretty much does it for this video, guys. Holy smokes, I got so many games here. Um, this costed me a pretty penny, I know, but you know what? The amount of money I spent on this was no different than the amount of money I would have spent on a year of like Game Pass Ultimate. And that just goes to show, hey, you don't need to have like an expensive subscription service just to have fun. All you need is just go into the store and buy a copy of a game, or just dedicate a select amount of money and just buy a stack of games, and you'll have yourself a lifetime of fun. And for those out there who watched all 50 plus minutes, thank you, of course, and hopefully you got some enjoyment out of watching me go through all these games. All, like, I think there's almost 20 of them here, like 18, I think. It's even more if you consider the fact that some of these cases include multiple games. Yeah, about 26 games, I believe, in total, which is insane. But yeah, as always, like I always say, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care.